Hi, my name is Larry Smith. This is my SWOT analysis of Dick's Sporting Goods. So, to give you a little bit of background of how Dick's actually started, it was founded in 1948 by Richard Stack. It actually started through a conversation initially he had with his boss while working at the Army and Navy supply store. His boss was wondering if they should venture out into selling fishing gear, and Stack thought this was a great idea, so he ended up actually telling him yes. So his boss wanted him to compile a list of things to sell. So he actually went home and compiled a list and spent an ample amount of time on it. He came back with his list, thought he did pretty well on it, and his boss laughed at him and told him that he would never be a good merchant. He was actually very upset with this. He went home and quit that same day. Went home, told his grandmother about it, and his grandmother asked him how much it would be to start up this business. He said around $300. So she took $300 out of her life savings and said, "Go and do it yourself." In the 1950s, his son Edward Stack actually had to take over because he had heart surgery. His son was already a certified public accountant, and he wanted to change his father's store from just one general location into a big chain of superstores for athletic apparel and gear. One of these things included making warehouse-sized stores. So if you'll notice, Dick's have big stores, around 35 to 45,000 square feet with a wide selection of products. Plenty of places for people to walk around through. Also a high sales volume, so a lot of products being out there, a lot more chance to sell different types of products, anything from kayaks for boating to mountain biking gear to the general sports, baseball, basketball. Also came up with a store within a store concept. So basically he came up with this. So if you'll notice in Dick's, in the back left hand corner, there's the gun shop. The back right's like the biking. Golf has its own section, and there's usually other spaces for the other sports like baseball, soccer, that kind of thing. You also have the ability to test merchandise. If you can check right here on the screen, there's a picture of someone testing out the gear right now. They have one of those visual displays where you can hit a golf ball into the screen and it'll tell you how far the ball goes. It gives customers a good chance to test the equipment before they actually take it out and buy it. Provides better feedback, that kind of thing. So some of the biggest strengths of Dick's Sporting Goods, like I said before, the size of their stores are ample, or a big asset they have. So plenty of places for people to walk around. If they find one thing that they like or don't, they can keep walking through, maybe find something they do. They also have a very high ROE. ROE is return on equity. So basically for every dollar that the company spends, this number measures how much they get back, like per dollar they spent. And compared that to in 2018, their ROE was 17.14% compared to their peer average of 12.96%. They also have a high research and development. So every time you come through a Dick's, depending on the season, if you look to your left, you'll usually see whatever sport's in the season right there on the left. So spring would be baseball, fall would be football, winter would be basketball, that kind of thing. Also, their location of their stores. They usually locate in metropolitan areas with medium to high population densities. This allows more chance for higher volumes of people to walk through the stores, be able to sell their product. Another one of their biggest strengths is actually the marketing strategy, like I said before. Not many other people try this same actual strategy, and it actually works very well for them. Weaknesses. Their number of locations is actually a big weakness for them. Compared to Dick's actually has 610 stores in around 47 states, while Hibbett's actually has 1,082 stores. They've also been facing recent scrutiny with their gun selling policy. So with the recent Parkland shooting, people have been very upset with some people have been very upset with how Dick's has approached this. They've actually raised their gun selling age from 18 to 21, and this has actually made people upset. The company actually reported a 7.3% fall in their shares over the year. Another problem they have is with online retailing. If you look on Consumer Affairs this year, they actually have a 1-star rating through 59 reviews. Out of those 59 reviews, 54 actually list them as 1 star. These things range from people never getting their products from the online store, or they're having to fix their new gear that they just got, and people are visually upset with this. This leads right into the opportunities. They can take a redesign to the online store, maybe picking like a better distributor other than UPS, which seems to be their main problem. Maybe trying something like FedEx. They could also have a new marketing strategy. They're actually implementing this right now. They have this thing called where they use three types of vendor relationships. One being like strategic partnership. So the brands that they offer, they could offer exclusive products not available anywhere else but in their stores. And they have the brands actually have more like freedom in the space that they are given to draw consumers in. Also, they have private label brands, which is they have their own brands. Like Christina Aguilera actually has the third leading woman selling merchandising brand, and Dick's actually bought the exclusive rights to that. Also, they have specialty stores like their Field and Stream, which is an outdoor apparel store. They're investing more time into that, and this exclusivity is something that hasn't been seen in the athletic apparel like landscape, I should say. Also, they can go into product expansion. They also do a very good job on this already because they have a wide selection of products for any sport, but there's always room for improvement. So they can move into something more like lacrosse. Investing abroad. Also, in all my research, I found that all their locations are within the U.S., excluding the 3 states, and they could have a big investment opportunity going to somewhere like the UK, Japan, somewhere else. Threats, lower cost competitors. Around my area, I actually have a place called Dunham's that actually offers on the regular lower prices than Dick's does. I will say to Dick's defense, they do have the price match guarantee, which helps protect from this. They also have product maturity like in baseball. In past years, it used to be Nike was the biggest seller in baseball equipment. It's recently changing to things such as New Balance and Adidas. So they need to make sure they keep up with the trends and what's popular in today's time. Also, external changes like government policy changes, public outlash of things like they've done with the Parkland shooting, and also with their public image. Like I've said before, their public image is somewhat changed, and it's kind of hurting. They will probably rebound from it, but they also need to be very careful of this. And these are my sources.